Hello.
Yo, man, long time, bro.
Yeah.
It feels like 6 months, and I know when was the last time we talked?
Yeah, no, was it this month? No, the chat has been, yeah, even like we're skipping the chat. So yeah, it's been a while. And now
But
I
the last time should be maybe 3 weeks. When was the last time we
could
did a
be
practice?
practice.
But
I
it,
don't,
man, it
I,
feels
yeah.
should be, yeah, because I was about to post the last session that we have,
Oh,
and
I didn't even watch actually. I should
I was about to
on
post
the
the
on the
last
third,
session. OBS, but
on the
no.
third. But the chat was on the 19th last month.
Third was the last time we have the session was the third, and the
Yes,
chat the
it's 19th.
third
So it's been more than a month.
the chat,
Yep.
and for the practice, man. Oh yeah, for the practice, it seems so. It's 20 days since the last practice. Wow, I was
Right.
feeling. I feel that I really need to do that again.
Yep.
I it feels so weird. Like it feels like I feel. It feels like when I was a child, and then and my mom told me to not be a friend of somebody because it's not good, because now I feel I have to study, have so much to do, so I feel my brain is telling me no, don't do that because you need to work with Docker Compose, and you need to do Docker hubs, and you need to and I'm like, oh fuck. Yeah. How is it going? How are you?
Yeah. I think I was just thinking like it depends on like what to talk about. I mean depends on if I mean this is I'm recording this anyways, but
I
is
am, because
this
this is recording. Yeah, okay, this is
yes no
recording.
because of course I record everything, but is this
Yeah.
the the main, are we on the stage or are we doing the behind the
No,
scenes?
this is the stage. This is
This is
this
the stage.
this is our life. This is our life. This is the stage. So I have seen like I see sometimes that you did you do some tutorial. So how many tutorials you did of Hydra now?
Like three or four, I think. I did one in
Wow,
Java, but yeah, four tutorials.
man. I really have to. I saw the first one. I watched for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I opened my YouTube one day and you appear like Naoto, is like the first feedback, and then I thought, wow, and then I thought like, yeah, the first 5 minutes I checked, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna check that after. So cool, man.
Thanks.
It's very nice. People are very happy. I saw
Yeah.
people
I
in
mean,
Facebook that.
I don't want to say it
I
this way,
mean,
but
you
it's
are
really
one of the master figures of Hydra nowadays.
oh,
I think people really like. I feel you remember like in your school, like I feel very honored to work with you now.
well, thank you. Well, I don't know, but definitely like I don't want to put it this way, but like tutorials really gain so much attention like if you post it on YouTube compared to like other videos. I'm not saying that what we do is good or bad, but definitely like it's
I
not that.
mean, you cannot compare because like there is a specific goal in the tutorial is to learn that, and
Yeah,
what we do is like somebody have to have interest to listen to just what
exactly.
we said. So, uh, um, but yeah, so maybe I can speak from my trauma from the last days. Is that I I realized because I'm not doing the practice, there's so much space. Is is like it feels like it's like a pause. It's like off time for me when I'm doing the practice with you. It seems to me now because I'm just busy, just doing this thing for the school for the exams until the 18th of January. So it's just like in that mode. and it feels like that space now that it's weird because it's technological still, so it's working with code and still, but it's like an off space. It's like a space that I have with me. It's like to meditate. And I think already before I say something like that, but now it gets more clear that it's just because it's very refreshing to do that.
Yeah.
It's very refreshing to do that thing. So not doing that, it's like it's like when you have a couple, you have a, and then you haven't, and you are in the first months of the relationship. So you want to be with the person all the time. You want to be in that space that you cannot. So then you're just holding. Like I feel like I really want to be in the space. I want to be in the space, and even though, yeah, because I can by myself, is I have been doing similar, like working more with nudge, but so still like
Mm.
then I move a little bit, but then I'm not in relation with somebody else, and it's not the same. So um yeah, I have been missing that space because it's a that's a, anyway, that space is a chat. Is we don't talk, but we do something together. And the last session, I start feeling that is weird. That's my feeling. I don't know how it was for you, but in the last session, I start feeling that we start listening more, not literally, like I start feeling that even in my doing, I was taking you in consideration way more than before. And as well, I felt taken by you more in consideration without without the
Interesting.
need to without the need to speak about.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how you see how you feel about the practice nowadays.
Yeah, so going back to what you said, to me, oh, I forgot what I wanted to say. No, I think for me, I still work with, similar tools. And also I work with Floor. Like we don't do like exactly the same thing, but we use Hydra, and also we work with movements. But to me, I think the practice really helps to say that, on Thursday at 9 or 10, we do this. And it really like, because we only have like this 1 hour. So I have to be, mentally prepared to do that. It's not like a spontaneous thing that, okay, let's do a jam and we do something, but we really like set the time and we do it. So there's like a good sense of, like being a bit nervous, or
Okay.
like being on the stage kind of feeling.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not,
yeah, yeah. I see what you mean.
it's not a stage, but it is. And that really, yeah, that's different from other things I do. Like technically, like in terms of like tools I use most of the things that I use in practice, and I sometimes move a little bit. But yeah, like practice is really, it's funny because it's a practice, but it's like to me it became more like a performance in the sense that I have to be on
Wow.
the stage.
Yeah, 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 okay, now wait, and I'm putting this 20 to today's 23. So by the way, today for all the people, all the thousands of people who are watching this, then this is the our chat. This is it seems like a Christmas version of our conversation.
Yeah,
Uh and then it's fun. Wait, so you said about the stage, yeah, being on stage. That's it's yeah, it's interesting that you said that, no? That
I mean we practice on the
could be,
stage.
could be. I mean, I for sure I have. Yeah, okay. I see it in a way. It seems in my head it's kind of like a date situation. Like it give me a bit like I feel, but it should be because it gives me this. I'm nervous. If I will be doing that alone, I won't feel like if I'm going to meet you. You know, it's not the same. Yeah, because yeah, but yeah, so that's the. If I will be doing that alone, if I just do the Hydra and I use the tools alone, I won't feel. I don't feel. I won't feel this stage presence that you call. I
Yeah,
will. I won't feel this nervous because you're not there. So I will feel frustration, I will feel other things if things are not working, but not the what is going to happen, you know, what is your mood, you know, because sometimes you are not in the same mood, like, so what are you going to do today, like yeah, this the chills, this thrill is not there. um it's
True.
unexpected. So maybe it's a question
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
you, is that it's a question for you, is that because in my experience I don't have, you have experience for instance like now with Floor, when you do and, and I guess you meet and you have work with similar tools, how you see your experience, or how you can compare your experience in that sense, because I don't have that experience of being in this in a similar space with somebody else.
Mm. No, I
So
think
how can
it's
you?
because we also do like a performative stuff, performances, but I think like also I work with Yansu and like, with her we use different tools, but it's more about we we just don't define the time and we explore things. And so it's different from, we have 1 hour, because with you it's always 1 hour. Like even if you don't
True,
finish anything, if you didn't finish that what you wanted to do, it's over if it's 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. And
true.
that's the difference. It's not about how we do it. I mean, in terms of like, how I work with different people, but it's just this only constraint, I would say, that really like, because if I'm, meeting Yansu, it's more or less really spontaneous, and we slowly start and we do it. We work for 2 hours, 3 hours, sometimes more, but it's not that we have a goal in a way. Or with Floor, we work for, maybe we jam for like 1 hour, but we don't see the end. Like, okay, I have to go, so we end. But it's not that there's a clock.
Yeah, yeah. It's so in a way it seems to me, but okay, it's very cool that you say that, because in a way, you remember some time ago I start speaking to you in terms of like this is the like kind of like we have in a way like a business situation, you know, like we enter to we understand what are the rules of a space that is completely loose, because the space is loose, right? What we do there is very loose, but it's still we have some, it's very frame. It's like as you
Yeah.
said, it's very frame, and it's interesting that you're saying that
I
because
mean,
of
there are like
that.
two things. That one is like a rigid, like a really rigid frame that we have 1 hour and we call online. But other things are like the more like implicit things that we agree on. I think that's what we talked about, like last 5 minutes, 10 minute thing, or these kind of things. Like that's
Yeah,
not
I think I didn't understand the last part. I
like
didn't
we
understand
we
what do you mean with that.
this escalates at the last 5 minutes or 10 minutes. We just like do um, whatever we have. We just move, and that's something that we didn't agree. Um,
Ah, okay, I see. It
but
just happened.
it just, well, I think it just happened, and then we take that as kind of agreement, but we never really said it, or we never wrote it anywhere. It's just that we have 1 hour. That's more like the contract, but um, like a written contract that we have 1 hour, but other things are something that we just somehow agreed without saying.
Hmm. But I think it has to be that. But yeah, I don't know how. In my understanding thing, and partly I think is because we shared so many time online, but at the same time I'm thinking you as well, you have shared, you shared spaces of content online creation with other people, so it could be longer than the what we have worked. So could be somehow that is because we because it's very rigid and short. Could be somehow that because of that. mm,
Because of what? Like because
because of the because if I was thinking if it's just because we share so much time online as well, you can compare. You share so much time online with other people and more time. um, so it's not because not it's not only because of that, but it has to be. I didn't think of that until now, that it has to be as well. So one is for sure the time, so much time, but the format, because the format is so precise. Maybe because the format is like that, so there are things, as you said, that in a way are implicit, that we just we start reading or like just catching unconsciously what we are doing in certain times.
yeah. I mean, I was thinking like what could be something like a, let's say, a reference, because as you said, I work a lot online and I meet quite a lot of people, especially this year. But most of the things, like I said, like especially when I work with someone, it's not really defined. Like we just maybe set the time to start, but it's not like we have 1 hour. Like compared to like video calls that you would say it's like half an hour or 1 hour. But like work sessions, I usually don't say it. The only thing I came up with, I mean, comes to my mind is the session that Annie and Daniel and Muriel, they're doing this 15-minute thing that
Right.
there are like two versions. Just for the viewers, I explain. They open a Zoom session and anyone can join. One version is that we all close our eyes and they set the timer for 15 minutes and we just keep um, meditating for 15 minutes. And we keep the microphone open so we hear environmental noise from each other. The other version is almost the same, but they will give, well, they will talk through, I mean, not giving instructions because you can follow or not follow, but they will say something and we react and we move together, for example. But again, eyes closed. So this is something I would say similar in the sense that they have this specific time like frame, but it's really different because the only way we can communicate is through the sound because we all close our eyes. And I feel it's very difficult to make this kind of agreement easily, like how we did if we close our eyes. And also it's also like that, not just the time, but what we do is really constrained in these sessions.
I was
So
thinking.
yeah, it's really constrained. By the way, I'm gonna talk with Annie in a few days, and because she's curious about what we've been doing, the practices. So I'll try to record it. I don't know. I have to ask her, but then I can upload
Yeah,
it
it would
or
be
at least
nice to,
share with you.
or otherwise just you told me, you share and you tell me, because I found very interesting her, yeah, her views. And
Yeah.
somebody who's very, reminds me, yeah, he's very, I remember the session with her was very liberating. I remember that's the word how I will catch it. Very liberating. Yeah. uh,
And also in those sessions, it's open to anyone. I mean, of course, it's not like 100 people coming, but maybe 10 to 20 people, and more or less like same people come every time. But yeah, like the number of people, and because the group is fluid, it's always hard to make this kind of agreement, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Uh,
Should we switch to the backstage? I know it's not a lot of time we talked, but
yeah, maybe let's
yeah.
close. Wait, let me think if there is something more to share. More to share. Yeah, maybe the space. Yeah, that I'm missing that space of the best practices because I liberate my demons with that thing. So yeah, that's a basic, a simple way to put it.
Mm,
I The last sessions were, it's becoming more intimate to me. It's becoming more. It's nice. It's a nice. I feeling there is a nice, uh, a middle ground between a serious thing. So a, what I call a business. So it's something is a, or is a rigid something that is very concise, very precise. Is productive somehow, and but at the same time is completely loose and relaxing. So it's
mm.
found a middle ground for me in being between a concrete business framework and a completely, and on the other side a relaxing, liberating place.
Well, I think
Yeah.
it's. I mean, I chose the word rigid, but I feel it's not the right word, because I just thought it's like a ritual. So, I mean, in the ritual, you need some kind of frame.
Yeah, I like that word. I like that word.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah, and
Yeah.
but that's, we have to set that in order to have that experience,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
spiritual or somatic, or yeah, I don't know what's the right word, but it really um, comes from inside, and like when I do the practice, and that's like really like a rare opportunity for me. Like I know in some dance workshops I felt that, but it's always hard to really like, yeah, like have this liberating experience. It's really hard to do it. Like if I want to do it at home, maybe I'm, just listening to music, and if I feel really good, I can go to that state. But it's really hard, and in the practice, it's really easy. I would say, to get to that state.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the way how you describe it. Like it's true. It's a ritualistic place. Um, but I like to start thinking that already we start the last sessions, and I guess more in the future will come, is then when we start thinking about, yeah, other things, like the stage of the shapes of what can that take into the future, or what I mean, start like putting more serious things around the practice. I like to just with, yeah, I guess not for now, but that when we talk about those places, because in a way it seems that it goes like if you're trying to make something let's say productive from something that it was not meant to be like to be classically productive, then it gives a contradiction that I think is interesting. And I think it's interesting for for us, but as well like as an experience to share, to how to, I think it's just cool like how we can, I don't know, let's say for instance when people ask me or ask you like how to present that, what is the, if you remember when we applied for this, the person said we really like it but we don't know how to do that, we don't,
Yeah,
and for instance like just to think this thing like, then you have already, you see it, because this works for us, this the way how we do it, it works for us. And now the format that we have is we share it. But let's say if you want to work it, if you want to use it as performance, um, what is the shape that that this performance can take? Because for us we are performing, right? We perform every Thursday at 10:09 we perform. But what if we want to share that performance not as content afterwards? I mean, just to talk of this those aspects when we start speaking of what are the shapes that we are seeing in the practice, it brings contradictions, or it brings, because it makes us, or if I speak personally, then it makes me feel uh uncomfortable with some situation, like, yeah, but maybe the practice was that was not the that's not the meant of the practice. So, and then if you start thinking, yeah, basically when you're trying to share or do something more, then I have to be more in the place that I have to be okay of being uncomfortable, uh, with, yeah, in the place
Okay.
that I have to be uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if like half of it I didn't really get it, but just to reflect on like this, well, what I was thinking, reflect on what I was thinking. That's really weird. Just to kind of, I'm just picking like some things from what you said. I personally think that if like when I'm working with other artists, I really feel that they know the essence. For example, like we talk about like being not productive, for example, which I'm really interested um, in terms of like live coding compared to other type of coding that really makes it counterproductive in a way, not Silicon Valley kind of um, development, but it's really making something from different perspective, which I really want to explore. Um, but it's not something that is, I think quite a lot of people already know this kind of idea, but in a more like they take it more like implicit. How do I say, like they wouldn't really think this as a theory or anything, but maybe this is like a um, masculine thing, which I don't like. But we always try to kind of theorize these
Yeah.
things, what we do, and especially this chat is about reflecting on our practices and what was the intention, and kind of forming theory. And now, like, I think we have some theories already, and now like how do we use it? But I feel like some artists are really good at just taking that essence, but not, let's say, not theorizing, but it's more about embodying or just practicing, like practicing, I mean, in terms of like using that essence to for their creation or performance, but they're not really interested in theorizing, let's say. I don't know, maybe they're interested, but I feel like there's like quite a huge difference in the process of creation when I work with other people. Of course, people are different, but I feel like this is really interesting. And I'm on more like the side where um, of theorizing, and I write a lot, and sometimes I feel that I just writing bullshit and not making anything. Um, but anyways, I don't know. I'm not saying I didn't want to say that, but yeah, like this is really interesting, and I think now I'm like meta theorizing, but understanding how people approach these artistic practices is it in itself is quite interesting. You know how people create, but what kind of route they're taking. Are they actually like somehow just getting the essence without noticing and just like put it into a artwork, or like some
Some
people,
enlightening, just,
yeah, and some people
yeah, yeah.
have to discuss a lot and write a lot or read a lot, and I think after that some people really makes great artwork, and other people just uh, no, I'm not saying I'm not judging which is what is art, good art, and what is not good art, but anyways, not good at practicing that theory, let's say. Yeah, okay, I'll stop here.
uh yeah, maybe just to conclude this, or to add what you were saying is, It's true. I think it's nice this exercise of speaking because we're trying to make sense of a practice. So I was just talking with somebody before, and somebody who is interested in working doing something, and he's more a sound person. And then we were talking of how like dance and sound share this space of um abstraction, in the sense like if you compare with visual arts, there is a lot of theory about perception of on visuals. There's a lot how you can perceive the art, like the through your eyes. But when you speak about sound, for instance, there is not too much about like perception of sound. And I think a good example of that is if you can compare between, you can easily see the difference between like a render of a three-dimensional, really done image and a crappy image. Like you can see drastically the image right away. But if you consider like to catch the difference in sound quality between good sound and bad sound, I'm not talking about noise, but just like to really have that. That's really that's something that is it's very difficult when you catch, for instance, with headphones and stuff like that. Like sound wise, it's
Mm.
not easy. If you with visuals you can do that. And it's because, and in that sense, I think sound and dance, they share that space of abstraction. It's just a place that it just exists there. So then to speak about that is just so complex, because you can experience, you can um, you can learn it by experiencing that. So once you start speaking about your experience, already you are not experiencing that. So it's not, in a way, it's not real anymore. It's just in our heads, based on our memories. We are just like going to what we thought it was the experience. But if we going back to what I was saying, it was it it is very subjective, all that experiences, in sound, and in how you perceive the sound and how you perceive the dance will be very subjective. So doing this exercise of just talking, uh, I think is very nutritious, because again, the frame is quite, in a way, is rigid, but at the same time, I think it helps because it's time frame rigid, because we have shared some time already there. So we, in a way, are is start developing a language that, in a way,
It's like
we
a
know how
canvas.
to go. It's like a canvas, but then at the same time that we both is others start, because we know, we work in that canvas, yeah, defined framework of canvas. Then already we start knowing what can happen. So even though we are doing, for instance, sometimes I will ask you, I kind of stop, and I tell you, and without telling you we are stopping now, I will tell you, hey, how can I do this, or while we are performing. So and those all these small details are things that we are just building up on the doing. Like if before, let's say, more in the beginning will be more, there are more awkward moments, that now is kind of like is everything can happen in that space while
Mm.
we are performing, because it is a performative state. It's true, we are performing in that space. And I think this that doing the chat, I think it's so nice, because then we are just trying to make sense of the experience based on memory. Uh, yeah, so we're trying to make sense of that experience based on memory, but it's
Well,
like
yeah,
you
once we
cannot.
talked about time, that time is not linear in a sense
It's not
that
there, and it's not
we
there
talked about.
anymore. So
Yeah.
it's just based. It will be based on my memories. So I cannot trust my memory that much. But anyway, this is and we are committed, and then we try to talk. Another thing is very cool, because you're just trying to make sense of both of what are you saying. Yeah, maybe not. I think it's cool, but maybe we can close this here, and can go backstage.
Yeah. Then see you next time. Have a happy
Uh,
holidays.
Merry Christmas.